The event never hurt you, your judgment. Did what if I told you that nothing that has ever happened to you has ever truly hurt you? Shocking, but true. A man insults you. The words are just vibrations of air. A car crashes into yours. It's metal against metal. None of it carries pain by itself. Pain is manufactured in your own mind, in the split second you decide to label the event as bad, unfair, or unbearable. Two people can experience the exact same tragedy. One collapses into despair, the other rises like steel. The difference isn't the event, it's the judgment layered on top of it. This is the single most dangerous blind spot in human psychology. We believe the world is doing something to us, when in truth, we are doing something to ourselves, in real time, with every thought. Once you understand this, you can never again say, "He made me angry," or "She ruined my day." No one has that power over you unless you hand it to them freely. This single realization, that the sting is self-inflicted, is the foundation of every emotional fortress ever built by a disciplined mind. Master this, and insults become noise, losses become lessons, and chaos becomes simply information. Nothing more. The only battlefield that matters is inside your skull. What if the war you're fighting every single day isn't with your boss, your family, or your circumstances, but entirely with yourself? Most people spend their whole lives trying to control things that were never theirs to control. Other people's opinions, the weather, the economy, the past. And they wonder why they're exhausted. Here's the brutal truth. You control exactly one thing in this universe, the space between stimulus and response inside your own mind. That's it. Not your reputation, not your health, not even your own body fully. Accidents happen, illness happens. But your judgments, your desires, your reactions, those are yours and yours alone, untouchable by any external force unless you surrender them. Imagine a soldier who spends his energy trying to control the enemy's strategy instead of sharpening his own sword. He will lose every time. That is what emotional turmoil is. Energy wasted on the wrong battlefield. The moment you stop fighting outside and start training inside, everything changes. People can take your possessions, your title, even your freedom, but they cannot touch your inner citadel unless you open the gate yourself. This is not passive resignation. This is the most aggressive form of self-ownership there is. Rehearse the worst, so it can never ambush you. What if the very disaster you fear the most has already happened, in your mind, 1,000 times before it ever touches reality? This sounds morbid, but it is the single most powerful emotional weapon ever discovered. Every morning before the sun fully rises, imagine losing what you love most. Imagine failure. Imagine betrayal. Imagine the harsh word, the cold silence, the sudden loss. Not to become fearful, but to become unshockable. A soldier who has mentally walked through battle before the first shot is fired does not freeze when the shooting starts. But a man who has never once considered hardship collapses at the first sign of it. Comfort is fragile. Preparation is armor. This is why the untrained mind panics at small inconveniences. A delayed flight, a rude comment, while the trained mind remains steady even when the ground shakes. You are not being pessimistic by preparing for loss. You are being the only truly free person in the room, because nothing can catch you by surprise anymore. Practice losing in your imagination daily, briefly, deliberately, and you will find that when real loss visits, as it visits everyone, you will meet it not as a stranger, but as an old, expected guest. Anger is not strength, it is a mask for weakness. What if everything you've been taught about anger is backwards? We are told that rage proves passion, that shouting proves strength, that losing your temper proves you care. Shocking reversal. Anger is not power. It is the visible proof that you have already lost control. A calm man who says one firm sentence carries more force than 10 men screaming. Watch closely. The people who explode in fury are almost always the ones who feel powerless underneath. Anger is the mask panic wears when it wants to look respectable. True strength doesn't need volume. A blade doesn't announce itself before it cuts. It simply cuts, cleanly, without drama. When you feel rage rising, ask yourself honestly, is this the reaction of a disciplined mind, or the tantrum of a mind that has already surrendered its throne to a passing feeling? The angriest people in history were rarely the most effective. The most effective people in history were terrifyingly, unnervingly calm. Because calm is what allows clear judgment, and clear judgment is what wins wars, negotiations, and lives. The next time you feel the heat rising in your chest, remember, you are not about to show strength. You are about to reveal exactly how much control you've lost. Turn the obstacle into the fuel. What if the very thing blocking your path is secretly the exact thing that will make you unstoppable? Every obstacle carries within it a hidden opportunity, but only the disciplined mind can see it, because the untrained mind is too busy complaining to look. A blocked road forces a new route, and sometimes that new route is faster. A public failure forces humility, and humility builds character no comfort ever could. Fire doesn't destroy metal, it forges it. The obstacle is never truly the enemy. Your resistance to the obstacle is the enemy. Two men face the same wall. One curses it, sits down, and gives up. The other climbs it, and in climbing builds muscles the first man will never have. Nothing wasted, nothing without purpose, if you choose to see it that way. This is not blind optimism, it is strategic reframing. Ask not, why is this happening to me? But what does this force me to become? Every setback carries a secret instruction manual for your next level of strength, hidden in plain sight, waiting for the mind brave enough to read it instead of running from it. The obstacle was never in your way. The obstacle was the way all along. Remember, you are temporary, and watch your anxiety disappear. What if the fastest cure for anxiety, rage, jealousy, and fear was simply remembering that you will die? Uncomfortable, yes, but shockingly effective. Most emotional storms are fueled by an illusion, the illusion that we have unlimited time, unlimited chances, unlimited tomorrows. So we waste today raging over a parking spot, a rude email, a petty insult, as if we'll live forever and can afford the wasted hours. But you won't live forever. No one does. The moment you genuinely absorb this, not as a scary thought, but as clarifying truth, trivial irritations shrink instantly. Would this argument matter on your final day? Would this grudge matter? Would this fear matter? Almost never. Death is not the enemy of a calm mind. It is its greatest teacher. It strips away the noise and leaves only what's real. How you treated people, how you spent your hours, whether you lived with integrity or wasted your days reacting to nonsense. This is not depressing. This is liberating. A person who has made peace with mortality fears almost nothing else. Not failure, not rejection, not opinion. Use this daily. Let the shortness of life burn away the smallness of your emotional reactions. What if everything that has ever made you angry, anxious, or heartbroken was never actually caused by the world around you? What if the enemy you've been fighting your entire life was never outside, never in that person who wronged you, never in that failure that broke you, never in that fear that keeps you awake at night, but has been living quietly inside your own mind the entire time, wearing a disguise? What if I told you that the calmest, most powerful men in history were not calm because life was kind to them? Their lives were soaked in betrayal, war, loss, and death, but because they discovered one dangerous secret. Emotions are not things that happen to you. They are things you build brick by brick, judgment by judgment, inside your own skull. And what if, in the next few minutes, I hand you the exact blueprint they used? The same blueprint that turned suffering into strength, chaos into clarity, and fear into unshakable calm. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you will never look at your own anger, your own anxiety, or your own pain the same way again. What if everything that has ever made you angry, anxious, or heartbroken was never actually caused by the world around you? What if the enemy you've been fighting your whole life was never outside you at all? Every morning the sun rises on people who will be insulted, betrayed, delayed, disappointed, and wronged in 1,000 small ways before the day ends. And every single one of them has a choice they don't even realize they're making. The choice to let the event become a wound or to let it pass through them like wind through an open window. Understand this clearly. The insult is just sound. The loss is just circumstance. The betrayal is just another man's failure of character, not yours. None of it carries pain on its own. You are the one who reaches out, picks it up, and presses it against your own chest. And you can just as easily set it down. You do not control the storm. You never did. You control only the ship and the hand on its wheel. So stop wasting your strength commanding winds that were never yours to command, and start mastering the one vessel that has always entirely belonged to you, your own judgment. Walk through the worst each morning in your mind before the world has the chance to surprise you with it. Imagine the loss. Imagine the failure. Imagine the cold word, the empty room, the silence where a voice used to be. Not to live in fear, but so that when hardship arrives, as it always does, it finds you standing, not staggering. And when the fire of anger rises in your chest, remember, it is not proof of your strength. It is proof that, for a moment, you let go of the wheel. The strongest men do not roar. They speak once, plainly, and the room grows quiet. Save your fire. Let it forge you instead of consuming you. Every wall in your path is not there to stop you. It is there to build the muscle only a wall can build. The mind that curses the obstacle stays small forever. The mind that climbs it becomes something the obstacle could never have created any other way. And beneath all of this, remember the one truth that erases almost every petty emotion instantly. You will not be here forever. None of us will. So the grudge you're carrying, the rage you're nursing, the fear that's kept you frozen, will any of it matter on your final day? Almost never. So let it go today, while you still have days left to spend on things that actually matter. You were not born to be dragged by every gust of feeling that passes through you. You were built for something sturdier, a mind that watches the storm without becoming the storm. That is not coldness. That is mastery, and it is available to you the very moment you decide to stop reacting and start choosing. In the end, the world will not become gentler and people will not become kinder simply because you wish it so. Insults will still come, losses will still visit, chaos will still knock on your door uninvited, but none of it holds any power over you except the power you personally, quietly hand over to it. The fortress was never outside you. It was always your own mind, waiting to be claimed. Build it, guard it, live from it, and you will walk through a world on fire, calm, clear, and completely, unshakably free.